Well, howdy folks. Charlie with Typewriter Justice here, and today I'm going to show you how to use a Remington Portable typewriter. And this will apply for the Portable 1, the Portable 2, a little bit for the 3, but mostly just for the 1 and the 2. This is a little Butler Brothers Portable 2 that I just sold, and it's way too pretty to not do another video with it. So that's why I'm doing this, really. First things first, this type of machine is normally mounted to a base plate for the case, and I've got this one taken off of there, and unless you've got new feet on your machine, I really don't recommend doing that. They like being on the base plate, simple as that. So leave it there unless you get new feet, in which case, take it off, you know, whatever floats your boat. If your machine has been in its case, then most likely somebody figured out how to lock the carriage, because it's pretty tricky to try to get one of these into the case unless you know how to lock the carriage, which we'll get to. To unlock the carriage, though, if your machine is set up like this, the knob is going to be pretty darn close to the end of the carriage. You're going to grab the knob, pull it out until it clicks, and that'll release the carriage. As far as carriage movement goes, you have 2 carriage release levers. You got one right here, which will also move the other one on the other side. This just lets you take your carriage back and forth. Also on the right-hand side, you have your paper release lever, which it will pull forward, but you're going to want to push it back. That's the proper operating position. So it'll just go backwards like that. And that lets you scoot your paper around. Over here on the left-hand side, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. This is where things get a little complicated, right? We already said we got a carriage release lever. This is your carriage return lever, which you do this and push it that way. To change how many times it'll click between single spacing or double spacing, you use this thing. Grab it by the knurling, pull it out, and then rotate it and let it pop back into place. This lever is your index detent. Notice we're not clicking. Now we're clicking. Not clicking. You get the idea. This lever behind your carriage release or your carriage return lever, this one is your margin release. And you'll notice that it affects that rack in the back. And that's where your margins are. They'll grab up against this thing after the bell dings, and you hit that, and it'll let you keep typing. Speaking of margins, while we're back here, these are your margin stops. To move those, push it in, give it a slide. Easy peasy. Sometimes they won't click back into place exactly where you want them. So you got to make sure they click in place. Oh, also while we're back here, I can show you the carriage lock. Kind of. It's hard to see. It's right there. It's that second little lever that sits directly behind, cradled up against the carriage release lever on the left-hand side. Now what that does, when you reach around behind it, you know, up here, you'd be hitting the carriage release lever. Down here, you're going to be hitting the carriage lock. So to lock the carriage, start with it to the left of center, push on that carriage release lever, the carriage lock lever, slide until you hear a click, and then while you're still holding that lever down, push the right-hand knob. Now what that's doing is allowing that platen rod to come through right there. So we click it into place, push the rod, and it comes through. This disengages the carriage and simultaneously holds it in place. To actually use the typewriter, you need to raise the type bars, which is this lever. Pull it out by the knurling, and then raise it up and let it pop back into place. To return them down, same thing. You have to pull it out and then slide it into position. Your color selector to position. This is the top half of the ribbon. This is the bottom half of the ribbon. It's a little counterintuitive because they got it flip-flopped, but it's just the way it is. For your ribbon advance, it's right here. This will also determine the direction that the ribbon is spinning. If your machine has been tuned the way this one has, when you get to the end of the ribbon, it will know. They're creepy like that. It'll just know. All right, what am I forgetting? How to load paper? Sure. With your paper release disengaged, you know, that's engaged. This is disengaged. Take your piece of paper, sit it down into the back till it's snug against the feed rollers, and then wind it on through. Now the trick to this is most of the old portable 1s and portable 2s have pretty jacked up feed rollers, and you might actually want to engage your paper release and try and wiggle it through like that. But I don't do that. I think that's about it, really. You know, when you're actually typing on one, the touch that they like is kind of quick and kind of snappy, you know, rather than mashing the keys. Neanderthal. Give it a light little tap. You know, almost like it's white hot and you just have to get it all the way to the bottom and then let go quickly. Rather than So that's about all I've got, I think. They're sweet little machines when they're all tuned up. Oh, the antennas. I forgot the antennas. There you go. That's how to use a Remington Portable on one of my favorites. Later.